Hey guys, it's Sim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As it's a Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. And for some reason, the camera shifted, and let's move all around. We're good now. It's Friday. That was Friday Night Smackdown, and I thought it was a pretty solid episode of Smackdown. I mean, yeah, it was 3 hours. It felt a little long, but really, I thought it, in feeling a little long, flowed pretty well. There was never a time where I'm just like, get this over with. This is dumb. This is boring. I'm not interested. So that was a good thing. There was never a time per se where I was just meh. You know what I mean? So overall, I thought it was a good episode of SmackDown, a solid episode of SmackDown, coming off of the Royal Rumble and now building up to Elimination Chamber at the end of the month. As far as that all does go, it was weird that, so we got the two chamber qualifying matches tonight on SmackDown. We saw Tiffany Stratton and Randy Orton qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Then they announced 2 more Elimination Chamber qualifiers for next week. Alexa Bliss, Julia, and Zelina. Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn. Now, I need to ask you, chat, did I miss something? Alexa, stop. Did I miss something? They said more qualifying matches on Monday. They said Rhea's in a qualifying match on Monday, but then they didn't name any other names. Then they did a commercial saying there's qualifying matches on Monday that started off with Jey Uso's music and didn't name any names. So did I miss something, chat, as far as who's in the qualifying matches for Raw Monday? Like, let me know, because I didn't see any names other than Rhea Ripley. That was it, because they said it in a backstage segment. But we've got 2 full lineups for next week as far as a men's and a women's qualifying match. So I don't know why they're not telling us who's in these Monday qualifying matches for Raw. Like, Rhea's in one. Okay, who's the other 2 women? We look at the Raw roster. Let's go to WWE's website real fast. Go to the Raw roster. And we look here. So we go down, change this to Raw. Bailey, Asuka. Those are 2 very, very feasible names to put in there. Becky Lynch, maybe. Ivy Nile. I guess if you need someone to take the pin, unfortunately. You've got Natty, Maxine, Lyra, Kyrie. Oh, we got a new Javon Evans render. Hold on. We need to look at this real fast. We got a new Javon. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's pull that one out. We also got a new Obafemi render, too. But if we're looking, Roxanne. So we got Roxanne, Raquel, Nikki Bella, probably not. Lyra, Maxine, Kyra. I mean, we got women. And we're going to need 6, 9. But who do we do Monday? We know Rhea, and that's it. I guess maybe you throw like a Ivy Nile and a Bailey, and you can pin Ivy Nile. Rhea pins Ivy Nile. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But with all of that, I'll say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube at that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos, when we go live, when we post to the community tab. Also, remember to hit the join button and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get a badge next to your name, emails and emojis that you can use in the live chat, access to our graphics packages, and more. Also, remember, If you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. With all of that, we'll barrel on through and get right here. Friday Night Smackdown, ladies and gentlemen. As far as the show does go, we get a skyline shot of Charlotte, North Carolina. Joe Tessitore introduces us, and they toss into a recap of the Royal Rumble. Joe then comes back with the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. He arrived to the arena with a smile on his face. Before he can properly introduce himself to the crowd, well, he's attacked by Cody Rhodes. A vengeful Cody Rhodes comes down looking for revenge after he was eliminated by Drew in the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes beats the crap out of Drew, basically throws him into the my brain's mush right now. Throws him into the turnbuckle on the outside, and eventually they do get separated. But then Cody gets in the ring, grabs a mic, and cuts a hell of a promo. Rhodes took the mic and said things will never be the same again, despite Drew's best efforts. He said for the first time, he can, in good conscience, point to that WrestleMania sign, and that's all thanks to Drew McIntyre and his interference in the Royal Rumble. Rhodes discussed CM Punk and Roman Reigns making their WrestleMania main event official this past Monday, stating that the two of them were both glad that he wasn't, quote, he wasn't in there, quote, measuring contest. You know what? Measuring contest. I'm like, oh, okay. We do know. Then this motherfucker goes, because I didn't get the nickname Raheem for nothing. Let me go back on that. Because I didn't get the nickname Raheem for nothing. Cody out here just telling us all, hey, I got a big dick and I'm bigger than all y'all. What? Jesus Christ. Kids watch this show. And good thing he used them, quote unquote, as Bruce Prichard would say, innuendos. He talked about how WrestleMania means so much to him and how he was born in this city of Charlotte. Quote, imagine my discomfort returning here without the championship. The place where I was born, down at the General Hospital. Rhodes said that McIntyre wasn't mad that he wasn't champion, but rather because Rhodes was the champion. Rhodes concluded by promising that his shame and discomfort, well, it would only fuel the McIntyre downfall because Drew would not make it to WrestleMania. Honestly, and Cody said it before, he might be a little better as the chasing babyface, like going for the title. And this vengeful, pissed off, I'm coming after you, I want my title back, Cody, was fantastic. So maybe Cody as the, what's the word I'm looking for? Dedicated, motivated babyface trying to get what he wants or get back what he wants is the best version of Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes as the champion at the top, the QB1, the John Cena of it all, is fantastic. But when he's not going for the title, and this is not a knock on Cody, this is more booking than anything. When he's not going for the title, when he's not chasing something, he's not cutting these super passionate, fiery promos that often. Granted, he cut one before Saturday night's main event when he fought Drew because Drew had attacked him, took him out as the champion, and he wanted revenge for that. So it's like he was still chasing something, chasing his revenge for Drew. But when Cody's just the guy everyone's coming after, I'm not saying he's boring or anything or he sucks, but it's like he's better when he's motivated. And when it's just, I'm the champion, I'm the face, he's just that. He's just that. It's kind of cookie cutter, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how it all plays out. But I think Cody being the chasey is great. Now we ask, how does that damn qualifying match go next week? Who's pinning Sammy? Who's not making it in? Or does Cody and Jacob screw each other and Sammy makes it in? But then how do you get... There's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. If Sammy makes it in the chamber, not Drew or not Jacob Fatu, not Cody Rhodes, then how does Cody and Jacob get to Mania? Either one of them or both, So one of them, I think, has to pin Sammy. I just think that's what's going to happen next week. And we'll talk more about Sammy later with that weird fuck up Sami Zayn segment. Like, very weird. So as we move forward, we're backstage. Julia and Kiana James, they were interviewed ahead of their women's tag team title match against Rio. Basically, made their intentions clear. They want these titles. Julia's already got the U.S. title. Julia's going to win the chamber. She's going to go to Mania, win the women's title, and then she's going to have all the titles. No. I mean, I think Alexa pins Zelina to make it into the chamber next week. I could be wrong, and Julia does make it into the chamber, but I could see it being Alexa Bliss instead. So elsewhere, Nick Aldis was admonishing Cody Rhodes, saying, hey, you can't do that. We're not playing these games. You're not going to let your emotions get the better of you. You're not going to go out here and, ruin my show. You have an Elimination Chamber qualifying match next week, and you better keep yourself in check or I'm going to have to reconsider that and pull you out of it. And Cody goes, hey, I hear you loud and clear. Nick, I got you. I'm leaving. I'll see you next week in Dallas. Motions checked. We're good. Nick, bye. Have a good one. And basically referees helped Cody out the building. So we did have a women's tag team title match. It was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defending against Julia and Kiana James. I thought the match was fine, fun, good even. Ripley and James started things off with a test of strength as the challenger flinched when Ripley was about to punch her. Julia then stepped up to Ripley as the legal woman, but wanted to face Io instead. Ripley obliged the request and tagged in Io. We got some good, felt like Joshi action here, I guess you would say. Julia stomped at Sky's head at one point. I wrote heart, but that was not right. Head, and then mocked her taunt. Sky then dodged an attempt at a throw by Julia and hit her with an impressive shotgun dropkick. Sky then slammed Julia down. Couldn't capitalize off of it, so Kiana James involved herself by dropping Sky, threw it first on the top rope. At one point, the match did return to break. They told us this match is presented by Papa John's. Sky got blasted with a missile dropkick from Julia for a near fall. James then tagged in as she and Julia failed to hit a double team move on Sky. James tried to get the sneaky entry back into the ring to tag Sky. They're all fighting around. It kind of becomes a little jumbled up. They're fighting over in front of the announce table and everything, and they finally get back into the ring where Ripley slammed James face first like a pancake. Wasn't enough to keep her down, though. James then escaped during a riptide attempt and powerbombed Sky right on Ripley. Julia and James then hit a combination of signature moves, including the Arrivederci knee and the 401k on Sky, but couldn't quite capitalize on it. Julia then attempted a Northern Lights bomb, but Sky reversed it. Ripley, with the blind tag, hit a headbutt on Julia, followed by a riptide. Sky finished it off with the over the moonsault and pinned her 1, 2, 3. Now I was confused here because if I saw this right, Rhea got the blind tag to Io, hit the riptide. Oh no, Ripley did get the pin. I did. Okay. Never mind. I wrote it weird in my notes. I thought Io pinned her. I was like, that don't count. But no, Rhea's the one that got the pin. And that's right now. Because Io hits the moonsault and then she goes, Io move. Okay, now I'm remembering. I just didn't write it in I just put over the moonsault, picked up the win. But now that I'm remembering, yeah. She had Io, she told Io to move, go block James. Now I'm remembering. Yeah. So we're good. They didn't do some ref messed up bullshit. But yeah, good opener. And we're going to see the women's tag team champions on the show again next week defending their titles, as we'll talk about later with Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Ilya Dragunov was interrupted by Miz in the back, and this was a little confusing at first, at least to me. So Miz walks up to Ilya Dragunov and is like, hey, I wouldn't talk to Nick Aldis. This U.S. title thing is off. Like, there's no open challenge tonight. And I thought he meant, I'm taking the open challenge. Nick Aldis approved that. Then Carmelo Hayes comes up and goes, no, Miz. You can't do that. We ain't playing these games. You don't deserve a title shot. Ilya deserves a title shot. And I'm not putting my title on the line against you. And I'm just sitting here going, wait, what? I'm confused. Are we not getting Miz and Carmelo, even though Miz said the GM made the match, Carmelo can supersede the GM. But then we went out there and we realized it was a non-title match. And then you think about it, Miz never said he was taking the open challenge or getting a title shot here. So I was confused for a moment, but by what they did, they didn't tell you, but they told you. No, it's just a Miz Carmelo non-title match. As far as the matches go, I thought it was pretty good. I thought these two worked very well together. Hayes started things off hot with the springboard clothesline to The Miz. However, the former WWE champion did get the advantage as he flattened Hayes with an elbow afterwards. Miz worked over Hayes in the corner, but got hit with a kick to the back of the head, followed by a springboard leg drop. Hayes then battered Miz with choppers in the corner, as he then stomped away on him for a bit before the referee backed Hayes off. Miz then clipped at Hayes' leg for another springboard clothesline attempt before he hit him with a running clothesline, which, well, they kind of just randomly went to break here that felt weird. Like they were like in the middle of a sequence, it felt like. Like they didn't get the cue, hey, we're going to break. You know what I mean? When they returned, Hayes attempted to fight back against The Miz with a series of furious strikes that forced his foe into the corner. Hayes connected with a La Mystica on Miz that sent him out of the ring. Miz at one point teed off with some kicks back in the ring, though, but failed to hit the last one as Hayes dodged it. The U.S. champion countered a skull-crushing finale and cracked him right in the jaw with a super kick for a near fall. Hayes pulled himself back up and headed to the top rope as Miz turned that around and hit a slingshot sit-down powerbomb. 1, 2, nope. Miz then sized up Hayes, but couldn't connect on the skull-crushing finale. Hayes tried to go for the first 48, but got countered into a skull-crushing finale attempt. Somehow, though, Hayes avoided the impact here, got up top, hit the first 48, and picked up the victory. Kind of a convoluted finish there. I was a little like, what the heck did I just see? But it all worked out in the end. Carmelo Hayes does get the win over The Miz. So the champ still looking strong. I thought it was a good match. I thought these two worked very well together, despite the finish, like that last 2 or 3 move sequence looking a little off. Other than that, I thought this match was great. And another, I wouldn't call it banger from Carmelo. It's probably one of his weaker matches since becoming U.S. champion, but still it was a really good match with The Miz. Just think about that. Tiffany Stratton was interviewed in the back about nearly winning the Royal Rumble, as she promised to get herself back on a winning streak by, well, qualifying for the Chamber tonight. Chelsea Green and Alba Fire showed up and taunted her, but were told off as the former WWE Women's Champion was ready for her qualifying match. We got a Wyatt's video. Bo Dallas talking to Solo about the lantern. Dallas said Sikoa was scared of being left in the dark by himself, which is why he stole the lantern. Dallas mentioned that fear doesn't show up when everyone's together. It shows up when you're alone. He then laughed and the video ended. Okay. I guess this played into later when Solo was going out for his match and couldn't find a family member. So, are we talking about Solo losing his family? I don't know. So then we had the weaker match of the show. It was a qualifying match for the it's a qualifying match for the Women's Elimination Chamber. It was Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, and Lash Legend. This match was rough at times. I will say that. This match was rough. And it seemed like they just didn't work all that great together. I don't know who's to blame, but there was just not great spots. And it looked like they were struggling for a minute at one point. So Green slapped Stratton and Legend to start things off, which led her to getting bashed around. Stratton and Legend then stood face to face and got ready for their own little battle. Stratton leaped at Legend, but was grabbed and used as a battering ram of sorts to take out Alba Fire off the apron. At one point, Green tried to steal Stratton's pinfall as she was taking some advantage on Lash Legend, but it didn't really work. Legend then tried to get involved, which forced a temporary alliance between Green and Stratton to clothesline her out of the ring. That alliance ended as it began, and as fast as it began, and she ended up on top and took out Stratton and Jax with a dive to the outside. Chelsea Green, that is. Green then did her salute, but then got rocked by a big boot from Lash Legend, which took us into a break. When we returned for that break, Legend lifted Stratton over her head and slammed her onto a prone Green before she splashed both women. Couldn't really get much off of it, though. Stratton recovered and used Green as an impromptu stepping stone to kick Legend in the corner. Stratton caught Legend with a rough drop kick as she reversed and unpretty her from Green. On the top rope, Stratton hit Green with a superplex as she rolled through with a Uranagi. Legend then broke up the pin and tried for the lash extension but couldn't capitalize. Legend then caught Stratton and hit a buckle bomb, followed by a choke slam for a near fall. Meanwhile, Green leapt from the top rope and hit a coast-to-coast drop kick on both Stratton and Legend. Nia Jax then pulled Green out of the ring as she tried to make the pin, which led to a little scuffle between her and Alba Fire ringside. Remember, triple threat. So you can't really, what's the word I'm looking for? Have a DQ in the triple threat. So interference is actually okay, unfortunately. Things did break down as Green and Stratton worked over Lash Legend. They threw her over to the timekeeper's area in the ring. Green attempted to unpretty her, but it was reversed by Stratton, who then hit the PME, prettiest moonsault ever, and pinned Chelsea to pick up the victory and become the first woman to qualify for this year's Elimination Chamber. Again, not the best of matches. I'll say that for sure. Randy Orton was interviewed in the back about Elimination Chamber. Aleister Black interfered and talked about how we've said goodbye to two great wrestlers in John Cena and AJ Styles. And, well, it was fortunate that Randy's still around. And they got a video package highlighting the stars of NXT and their performances in both the men's and the women's Royal Rumble match. That was cool to see. We got Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson made his way to the ring. He got ready to teach us all a lesson in toxic masculinity. He talked about being in the Royal Rumble last week, and it disgusted him. He called everyone in the Rumble toxic and stated that, quote, they didn't want him in the Rumble because of what he represents. And I'm like, wait, he's talking about being in the Rumble. He wasn't in the Rumble. I'm confused. Wilson then called himself a man who moisturizes, a man who listens, and, well, a man who moves his hips in a particular way. Wilson called the Charlotte crowd toxic, as he then challenged anyone who was in that Rumble to come face him. And out came Oba Femi. Crowd was very hyped up for Oba Femi. I will say that. They gave him a good reaction. Wilson yelled to Femi. He got met with a hard strike from the former NXT champion. Femi then repeatedly hit Wilson in the corner with running elbows aplenty before he put him to an end with a fall from grace. So there we go. Oba beat up Kit Wilson. They're just making him look like a monster. And coming off both Raw and SmackDown now, no Royce Keys. Royce Keys was in the Rumble, but then no follow-up. Follow-up at all. He was mentioned in the, what's it called? Video package on Monday. The recap, but that was about it. Palpatine, I don't even know what the Kit Wilson dance is, so no. I can do the Fandango. We do the Fandango all day long. Damian Priest is backstage. R-Truth was with him. They were seen watching Femi's match as Drew McIntyre rudely bumped into Truth. Priest said that he and McIntyre have had their problems, but it seems like the champ has his own problems to deal with now, and he wasn't going to add to that at this moment. I don't know what the fuck this was. I don't know what the hell this was. Then, the WWE champion made his way down to the ring. He wanted to speak because he couldn't speak earlier. He was attacked by Jacob Fatu. Fatu flattened McIntyre with a running hip attack as he clotheslined him out of the ring. Fatu then hit a suicide dive on McIntyre and battered him at ringside. Officials then tried to stop Fatu, who found themselves in the pathway of a furious man. Fatu then struck at McIntyre and forced him to run away through the crowd. Fatu then stood on the announce table and taunted Drew McIntyre. After the break, Nick Aldis told Fatu that he'd be in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match next week, and it would, well, behoove him to leave. If he wants to get a shot at Drew, he's got to play nice now. So basically, the same thing with Cody. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tama Tonga. I expected more out of it, but I thought it was a fine, solid match. And that's the word there. It was just fine. It was just fine. Like, it was good, but it was like a fine good. Like, the solid, by the numbers, nothing really special match, if I do say so myself. Tama Tonga hit Nakamura in the ribs early on to get the early advantage. Tama missed with a running strike in the corner, which allowed Nakamura to hit him with a knee to the ribs while Tama was prone on the top turnbuckle. On the opposite corner, Nakamura did a signature stomp on Tama, but got hit with the modified flatliner afterwards. Outside the ring, Tama slammed Nakamura against the announce table and draped him over it. Tama then ran off the timekeeper's area barricade and hit Nakamura basically with like the point of his elbow, knocking him off of the announce table as he go to a break. The match returned as Nakamura hit Tama Tonga with a sliding drop kick, followed by a set of strong style kicks that rocked the foe. Nakamura then hit a nice enziguri on Tama before he connected with a sliding German in the corner. Nakamura continued with the momentum with the driving knee strike, but couldn't get the win just quite yet. Tama Tonga then found himself with a little bit of momentum with the reverse DDT as he then hit a running splash in the corner. Tama hit a double underhook facebuster on Nakamura for a near fall, as he then had him in position to kind of move on going forward, but Nakamura reversed his suplex attempt. This then sent Nakamura out of the ring. Nakamura then took JC Mateo out with a baseball slide, but fell victim to a jumping DDT from Tama back in the ring. Tama then lifted Nakamura up on his shoulders, but got countered into a side suplex from the King of Strong style. Both men then struggled to get to their feet and went back and forth with some clubbing blows. Nakamura then got the best of Tama Tonga with his trademark spinning wheel kick. He then delivered a Michinoku driver for a near fall. As Nakamura had Tama in his sights for a Kansasha, JC Mateo distracted the referee just long enough for Tama Tonga Loa to grab at the leg of Nakamura. Tama Tonga then recovered and hit an unelevated cutthroat and picked up the victory. Yeah, too much interference for my liking. I just thought there was too much going on. As you can tell, I'm reading my notes, but like my notes are all jumbled because I'm like, what's next? What now? More people involved? Tonga Loa. Oh, fuck me. So yeah, the whole thing. But the match was fine. But like the outside interference did take it down a little for me. And then the other part of just nothing really special happened in this match also took it down some for me as well. So we got a weird segment backstage with Fraxium and Motor City Machine Guns talking about how they want to have a match against each other. Candice LeRae then showed up and was like, look what you guys did to Johnny. And he's like laying on a production box. I think the box even had like, it said NXT on it or something. I'm not sure. LeRae talked about what Axiom did to him, beating him a couple weeks ago. And they kind of laughed at Johnny. Then she said, hey, Motor City Machine Guns, you guys have known Johnny for a while. Can you talk to him, get him out of this little funk? They're like, yeah, no, we're good. And they left. I don't know what the hell this was. So then Ryo was being interviewed about their victory, retaining the titles, when Lash Legend and Nia Jax came up and said, hey, if that was us in the ring with you guys, you wouldn't still be the champions. We would, because we're better than them, and we should be fighting for those titles. And then they were just like, okay. And then Rhea said something about qualifier for the Chamber on Monday, and the way we go. Sure. Jay Wilson was backstage sauntering around when he ran into Matt Cardona. He said, all of this is your fault. You returned with your toxic masculinity, and nothing's been the same. Cardona was there with Apollo Crews, and they just laughed at him. He's like, hey, whenever you want to fight me, I'm always ready. He's like, always ready, masculinity. I'm like, I don't get it. I get there's a lot of people that like this gimmick. I don't get it at all. I don't get it. I don't know. Nick Aldis is in the ring, and he welcomes in the winner of the Women's 2026 Royal Rumble, Liv Morgan. She comes down to the ring with Raquel Rodriguez. Morgan came down and made her presence known, saying, I'm the greatest. No, that's not how she did it. She says, no, I got it. She says, I'm the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. Yeah, she held it out pretty damn long. Pretty damn long. It's her new thing. She wasn't sure about a couple things, though, but she was sure about one thing. Actually, three things. She was not just the greatest winner of the Royal Rumble, she's the hottest winner of the Royal Rumble, the funniest winner of the Royal Rumble, the smartest, the most iconic winner of the Women's Royal Rumble of all time. Morgan said that all of that came with a lot of power, but she didn't have a lot of time to make a certain decision. Morgan said that she could choose Stephanie or she could face Jade. Morgan said that WrestleMania wasn't the only thing on her mind, though. But there was a huge elephant in the room. And then Raquel grabs the mic and goes, "Don't worry about the elephant in the room. Well, we're just not going to talk about that." I'm like, what? What? You dumping you out the Rumble? I don't know what the elephant was. Probably Liv dumping Raquel, but why would Liv want to talk about that? And then they were just interrupted by Jade. So Jade made her way down to the ring. She said she didn't care if Morgan won the Rumble. And that she didn't care if she was here on SmackDown. Cargill said that if Morgan chose her, she'd beat her ass at WrestleMania before she turned her attention to Raquel. Morgan interrupted, talked about how she could pick Stephanie and ensure maybe Raquel wins the chamber and fights you. Then we can both leave WrestleMania as champions, and that led to Jordynne Grace coming out. Jordynne Grace made her way out to the ring, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute. We know that Liv's kind of short. Jordynne's shorter than Liv. I was baffled. Jordynne looked so short here. Like, how tall are these? Liv Morgan height. Liv Morgan's 5'3". Jordynne Grace was shorter. This says Jordynne Grace is also 5'3". She looked at least an inch or two shorter. Then when she was doing the bow up to Jade stuff in the back later, she really looked small. Anyways. Grace said that Morgan may have won the Royal Rumble, but don't get it twisted. You may not be able to face Jade come WrestleMania, because if I can ever get her to defend that thing, I'm going to take it from her. You can fight me at WrestleMania. Which I liked that line. Where if I can ever get her to defend that thing. Liv then interrupted again. It was just me. So both Jade and Jordynne were like, "Shut up, bitch," at the same time. All this was in the back going, whoa, all right, we jumped the shark. All y'all shut up. He literally said, all of you, shut up now. He goes, "You guys are here, you want to fight? How about you two, Liv, Raquel, against you two, Jade and Jordynne." And we had a tag team match coming up next. And I was like, that segment was okay. And the match is going to be so-so. And it was just all right. It wasn't that long, so it's not much to be like, that sucked about or anything. And the match started in progress from the break as Rodriguez was battering Grace with some elbows to the chest. Grace then got lifted by a back suplex from Rodriguez, but she avoided it. However, Morgan tagged in and tried to go for the three amigos. Grace then countered on the third amigo and delivered a suplex of her own. Grace flattened Morgan with a series of lariats, followed by repeated scoop slams. The cover by Grace was thwarted when it was stopped by Rodriguez. Grace then sent Rodriguez out of the ring. Morgan attempted an oblivion, but it was blocked with the strength of Grace. Cargill then, quote, accidentally hit Grace with a super kick after Rodriguez got out of the way. Meanwhile, Rodriguez had an accident of her own as she hit Morgan with a kick as Cargill got out of the way. Cargill and Rodriguez were then staring each other down. Grace then pushed the ladder onto the former and then rolled her up for the victory. So Jordynne Grace does get the win here. It was fine. I mean, there was nothing special to it, like that Tama Tonga Nakamura match. It was fine. There was technically nothing wrong with the match, but there was also nothing special about the match. Then we got a weird thing. Sami Zayn's walking in the back, and he's got one guy, "Hey, good try at the Rumble, Sami. You looked good." And the other guy, "Hey, keep your head up. It's okay, Sami. You'll get him next time." And I'm like, what the fuck is this segment? You'll get him next time? He finally runs into Rey Fenix, and Phoenix is like, "Hey, Sami, you lost at the Rumble, but keep your head up. You know, it's guys like you that inspired guys like me. It's guys like me that look up to you. And I know you can do better next time." I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? And then Trick comes up and goes, "Hey, it's the guy that can never get it done. The guy that can never win, the big one." Williams talked about how he's the guy. He's won big things here already. NXT title, TNA title, whatever. Rey Fenix then bowed up to Trick and was like, "Hey, keep your big mouth shut or I'll shut it for you." Trick's like, "Oh, is that a challenge?" Anytime, any place. And we learned that they will be facing off next week on SmackDown. Then all of a sudden, we just hear yelling. and a lot of bowing up to each other. And Jordan and Jade. Jordan's so short that she's like trying to bow up to Jade, but her head's like right in her chest. Finally, Nick Aldis shows up. And he's like, "Hey, calm it down. How about I do this? Next week on SmackDown, you, Jade, will defend that title against you, Jordan Grace." So next week on SmackDown, the WWE Women's Championship will be on the line when Jade Cargill defends against Jordan Grace. Now, you know I'm a big, huge Jordan Grace fan, been for years. I would love to see Jordan win that title, but I don't see them taking the title off of Jade before Mania. If this was after Mania, if this was May, June, oh yeah, I could see them putting that title on Jordan Grace 100% for sure. I would even put money on it. But going into Mania, I would think they want Jade as the champion, unfortunately. I think that's the route we're going. Jade is the champion at Mania. Who her challenger is, I don't know. I hope it's not like just Tiffany or something, and we could just Tiffany and Jade run it back. But I don't know. Jordan Grace as a champion would be freaking great, though. As we've seen in TNA, she's a great champion, great representative of your company, great female to have on top. Jordan Grace is just like the full package, and I think eventually should be either WWE Women's Champion or Women's World Champion. I really think she should. We got a recap of the Roman Reigns CM Punk segment from Monday, making their match at WrestleMania official. Also, I will show you this. We did get the first look at the WrestleMania graphics as far as WWE's graphics packages do go. We can pop this up on the screen. This is a little bit smaller. Whoops. These are WWE's graphics for WrestleMania. You see no names on the graphics, but it says World Heavyweight Championship. We got the big WrestleMania logo in the back. You see the light coming in from the right side, casting the big shadows on the logo there. You've got the quote-unquote skyline or strip in the style of the Mania logo behind them as well. And you got all the sponsors, Snickers, 2K, where you're gonna watch it, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas. Is Vegas in the middle, the dates and everything. So cool graphics. It's a little more plain than I expected, but then we also have in the background, you can't tell here because of course it's just a still image of the animated image, but in the background there's like what's it called? Oh, it's like not film grain per se, but you know, like in the NWO graphics where it's got like not the glitch, but I don't know how to explain it. I know how to explain it, but I don't know how to explain it. Like film overlay, I don't know how to explain it, but there's like you'd have to just see the whole thing. It's cool. Again, I expected a little bit more out of them. They're kind of plain, to be completely honest. So, but at the same time, maybe you just simplicity is better. You had the cool ones with the cards last year, and now you go a little more simple. It's a little more rough and rugged. Last year you had the casino vibe. Now you have the mean streets of Vegas vibe. Then finally, Drew got to come out and talk. Drew cut a hell of a promo. McIntyre came down. He's like, "Hey, Jacob's gone. Cody's gone. Can I finally just say what I wanted to say?" He took credit for dashing Sami Zayn's dreams. And he finally turns his attention to the Reigns Punk promo on Monday where he's like, "Hey, these guys overlooked me." McIntyre talked about how he's been through hell to get this title back. How well? He's always done it as a full-timer. He's never even been a part-timer at all. He's here every week, every time they'll let him be here. He put over the heritage of the undisputed WWE Championship and that he didn't blame Reigns for choosing Punk. McIntyre said that while Reigns and Punk were busy aura farming, he has an entire roster climbing to get into the Elimination Chamber and challenge him at WrestleMania. He said, despite whatever happens between them, he is the top champion in this company. He is the top guy, the guy that led this company through the pandemic and finally is back where he rightfully deserves to be. So he goes to leave, and out comes Trick. Big ovation from the crowd. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. He comes out, talks about how he's going to watch the qualifying match tonight with his lemon pepper steppers on. Williams said that maybe McIntyre worried about the wrong people. Maybe McIntyre should be worried about him because he's going to go through that chamber, win that chamber, and challenge McIntyre for the title at WrestleMania. And Drew's like, hey, why don't you walk before you run? Right before you interrupt me, you think about things for a little while. McIntyre promised if you keep on running your mouth, them, quote, lemon pepper steppers are going to get stuck with sun don't shine. Basically, he's like, hey, kid, you haven't earned the right to come at the champ yet. We got a number of things announced for next week's Friday Night SmackDown in Dallas, Texas. The WWE Women's Championship will be on the line when Jade Cargill defends against Jordynne Grace. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships will be on the line when Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defend against Lash Legend and Nia Jax. In a Women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match, it's Alexa Bliss, Julia, and Zelina. In a Men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match, it's Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Jacob Fatu. And then finally, we do know that Trick Williams will be going one-on-one with Rey Fenix. That then leads us to our main event, Solo Sikoa versus Randy Orton versus Aleister Black in a Men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. So prior to the match, Solo was worried backstage, looking for anybody in his family, but couldn't find anybody. No one to be found. He had to go to the ring by himself. Trying not to sneeze right into the microphone. Anywho, as far as this match does go, they got some time, it felt like. I didn't get an exact time, but it felt like they got some significant time for this match. Early on, Sikoa tried to get Black to team up with him against Orton, but, well, it didn't really work out. Orton then went for the RKO early, but couldn't connect. Sikoa pulled Orton out of the ring and threw him into the ring post. Black then hit a moonsault from the apron on Sikoa, as he then countered an attempted back suplex to the announce table and instead took out Orton with a clubbing blow. This led to a break. A little bit later, Black pulled Orton to the middle of the ring and worked him over until he pulled out of the ring and was pulled out of the ring and thrown into the barricade by Sikoa, who briefly stared at Trick Williams, who, remember, was sitting at ringside. Sikoa then kept Orton grounded with some chops and punches as he pointed at the WrestleMania sign. Orton recovered and hit Sikoa with a series of clotheslines, but he couldn't really hit the scoop power slam. Sikoa dodged it. Black then entered in and got dropped with a pop-up Samoan drop from Sikoa for a near fall. We went to another break. Coming back from that break, Orton hit a superplex on Black, but it put him in a prime position for Sikoa to drop down on him with a splash for a near fall. Black and Sikoa then got themselves to their feet and traded some strikes, but it was not really that much as Solo had the upper hand. They're fighting everywhere, and Sikoa avoided a draping DDT at one point from Orton, but couldn't really, avoid anything else here, and was dropped on the commentary table. Back in the ring, Sikoa was left stunned long enough to fall victim to Orton's draping DDT. Orton then had Sikoa in sights for the RKO, but Black kicked him hard instead. Sikoa then recovered and caught Black with a spinning solo and only got a 2 off of it. Sikoa attempted a Samoan spike, but Black avoided it and got Solo hit with a big knee. He followed this up with the bridging suplex, only for a 2. Black then hit Sikoa with a running knee and almost got caught with an RKO. Black then reversed it and attempted a Black Mass. Orton then dodged Orton dodged an attempting move, I'm not sure exactly what, by Black, and then hit him with an RKO. And then moments later, he rolled out of the ring. Sikoa then snuck up on Orton and looked like he was going to hit him with that Samoan spike, but Randy hit him with an RKO instead and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So Randy Orton is the first man qualified for the Elimination Chamber. I think they also said this is Orton's, well, they did say for sure this is Orton's 10th chamber. And then Barrett goes, I think that's the record of most chamber matches by anybody. Don't quote me on that. That's what they said. I don't know who's got the record for most chamber matches, but they made it sound like it might be Randy with the most chamber matches of anybody ever. And then the show just quickly goes off the air with Orton celebrating, like quickly goes off the air. With that, folks, that was Friday Night SmackDown. I thought a solid 3-hour show. Now, it felt a little long, but it didn't feel like one of these super long, dragged out SmackDown 3-hour shows. So that's a good thing. And you know what I thought of the show? Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Friday night SmackDown. So as we go and refresh all the polls here, as far as the Threads poll does go, 60% liked the show, 40% thought it was just all right. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 84% liked the show, 7% thought it was just all right, and 7% didn't like it. Looking at the community poll, 76% liked the show, 18% thought it was just all right, and 6% didn't like it. I don't know why someone commented MJF. You got to be dumb to do that. It's not AEW, you stupid. And finally, looking at the live poll, 70% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here at twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live on Monday. There's nothing over this weekend for Monday Night Raw. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.